I know I'm doing this a lot later than I normally do. Uh, there was a part of me that almost didn't even want to bother, but the way my schedule is that both Sunday and Monday, I'm not really going to be available to stream. Like tomorrow I start work around, like the early afternoon, which means I have to leave probably around like 12 or 1 o'clock. And then for Monday, it's pretty much the same time. Now, usually Monday I would go in at 6, which would give me at least the earlier part of the afternoon to stream. But it looks like I won't be able to. Um, if I can't do it on Monday, I'll try to see if I can squeeze it in later in the week. I should be able to pick out another day. Um, but yeah, today was really irritating. Um, and this actually might be the only the second day of the year that I've really been irritated by something that wasn't well. We'll get into that later, but there was this convention that took place, and the deal with these conventions is that they have actors from different movies and shows and people that you've probably seen in something before. I bought tickets for it back in November. I almost couldn't go because somebody else scheduled this like appointment meeting type thing with this other person. They didn't know I had the ticket, so I informed them, and then they pushed it back to next weekend. But I got these tickets. I was excited. There were two actors that I wanted to get my picture taken with, and of course they always charge like $50-$60 just to take a photo with them, so I was prepared for that too. And I'm not kidding. The event started at 11 a.m. this morning. I get there at about 9 something. The line, it has me out there for about 2 hours, hour and a half. I get inside to the room where the actors are, and after about maybe 10 minutes, because the lines in there are like a snake, where you'll see people facing left, then people facing right. Just it's not organized in any way that would be reasonable for a regular person to see and be like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, this go in this person's line, it's right here, or whatever. Um, right after I get in there, or rather, right after I get into the line, these guys are saying, "Hey, come on, we got to cut it off. We got to cut it off." And they start telling people to leave the room and to come back in an hour and a half, or come back in an hour, get something to eat, whatever. So I'm thinking, okay, this makes sense. They want to make sure that everybody that's here can, if they think they're reasoning that if they make it smaller or have less people in there, then everyone who's already in line can get, whatever they're trying to get from one of these actors, be it a photograph with them or a autograph. Okay, I accommodate them. I say okay, and I leave the place along with a lot of other people, and we go and I go in another room. They have this little vendor area, and people are selling overpriced food. And after about a half hour of sitting down, just kind of waiting to see how things subside or if they subside at all, I decide to go back to the place, and or rather, excuse me, I decide I'm going to go back to the place, but after about maybe a few minutes, as I walk close to the exit, I see a line piling up, lines long, and I go, "Oh man, it looks like this is the line to go back in there." So as I get in the line, I see they keep opening and closing the door because they're still doing their whole thing of this many people can be in the room at once or whatever, and this line circles its way from inside that vendor area to down the hallway to outside, then back down the hallway. This goes on for about an hour of just sitting in the line. It was kind of funny. I met this mother and daughter, and we had a nice dialogue about how long the line was and how overpriced everything was. It's nice to meet people just like through the happenstance of standing in long lines, for continuous periods. But eventually, this line leads the three of us, because I guess at that point we're like a informal group, back into the area where the actors are. And as we arrive in this area, we notice that many of the different actors, including the two that I wanted to actually get stuff with, are just not there. Now they have these things called photo ops where you can pay like almost $100 or sometimes even over $100 to get your picture taken with a professional camera. So they left the room to go and fulfill that obligation of theirs. And I kid you not, I stood in this room, didn't get to sit, they don't have any chairs. I stood in this room for over an hour and a half, and one of the actors came back, and I was like, "Oh yes, at least I can finally get this guy." And one of the people that was, I guess, moderating the event, running the event, security, whatever you're gonna call them, is like, "Oh, this line is cut off, so if you didn't get it before, you can't get it now." And the other person who I was waiting for, and this I should repeat this. This event was supposed to last from like right now it's 6:14 my time, which means that the event only ended 14 minutes ago. This event was supposed to last from 11 in the morning to 6 p.m. They told me that one of the two people I was waiting for decided to leave, like just left, and they're not going to be there tomorrow, so that was it. They showed up, were there for like half of the time that we thought we would have, and then if you didn't get your picture or signature or whatever with them, then oh well. Follow them to another convention when they decide to go to another one. Um, but eventually, as I just stood there and thought about how they kept saying this person is no longer available, I just got up and left. This was I stood for probably at least 5 hours today, um, between 9 o'clock this morning to about 3 in the afternoon. I was just standing and standing and standing outside of a 20-minute interval where I was sitting down after they told me to leave the room earlier. And I have to say, I've never, because like I went to this other convention back in September, and I felt irritated by the fact that they didn't explain things, that they didn't talk about how like a lot of the people that show up there don't want to get paid by any other means than cash, and how unless you're just walking around with hundreds of dollars, you're not going to be able to just foresee that this is what this person wants. And in this scenario, I had my stuff prepared. I was, ready as far as like, finances and just knowing what I wanted. And instead of me being able to get the things I wanted, I was made to stand in multiple lines that ultimately proved to be fruitless because the people that I wanted to get my things taken with were either left or they were barred from me being able to meet them because of some arbitrary nonsense about, oh, you don't have a ticket. And I when the one of the vendors said this to me, one of the people that was running the event said that, I was like, wait a second, my ticket was the $40 I paid to even come to this crap fest, several months back. That was, if there was a need for to have some other type of thing just to stand in line, they should have said something, and they did not communicate this in the slightest. Jem, I really don't even want to look at you right now because I told you several weeks back, and you probably forgot. Maybe you have amnesia. Maybe there's something in the water in New Jersey that I was going to do another documentary on somebody else, and I put up that other documentary on somebody else, and you didn't leave one comment on it. I worked hard. I wrote a script that was 10 pages long. I sat there all night one day recording and editing, and I not one comment from you. I mean, it's like you enjoy just sitting there and seeing me suffer. It's like you're sitting in a room going every time I upload something that takes some effort, and you won't leave one comment on it. So I was very dismayed, very hurt, very devastated, and I don't want to see you again after this. So you can say greetings and then you can say goodbye because that just turned me off. That was like opening tuna from last year. That odor and that stench, it was very foul. So I'm just letting you know, if you want to come and say something, you're allowed to, but that was like a knife to my heart. Well, while you were out of town, I was getting busy. I've read through this book 2 times. God, what are they? Oh, hello? Hello? Why is it FaceTime? People call you and they want to see you too. I hope you do watch tonight. I man, um, I'll probably do Johnson Part 5 before doing FDR Part 2, but you never know. I actually have a pretty even amount of both done where it's like I have about 6 or 7 pages for Part 5 and then like 5 or 6 for Part 2. So, I hope you actually watch it. I worked hard on it. But anyways, um I've never been this irritated in going to a convention. And man, like, listen, I'm someone who has a job where they have me standing for 8 hours straight, basically, outside of when you go on a break. And I do that without any complaint whatsoever. The only time I complain is like when they have me lifting something really heavy that they only have certain men at these jobs do because they want to pretend that all the workers are equal, but then they send the same five, six, seven, guys to lift this stuff that they know is heavy. Um, when I left that event, and actually I still feel this way, the back of my neck was hurting. Not as much now because I was in when I got in the car and was just driving, it started to kind of feel a little bit more relaxed. Um and look, Jem, it's not even just the 5 hours. Like, listen, if I went in there at 11 o'clock and got the pictures with both of these actors by like 2, 3, I wouldn't complain one bit. I understand when I go to these things, other people are excited, they're interested. The one I went to back in September, they had some long lines too, but they never had a line that was so damn long to where I felt like I could sit in it all day and just not meet the person. Like they never had anyone where it was like, "Oh, it'd be nice to get a picture with that person," but oh wow, this line is so long that they might actually shut down the event before I can even get to the front. They had some lines that were longer than others, obviously, but nothing to such an extent where you're like, man, I could sit in that line until from 11 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, and I still wouldn't be able to talk to this person or do whatever I'm trying to do with them. Get a signature, get a picture, nothing. That wasn't the case back in September, and I was criticizing them for all the little like cheap stuff they were doing to get money. Oh, you got to pay for parking, 15 for parking, and oh, you want some food? Okay, here's 5, 6, 7, 8, $9. Oh, you want to get a picture autograph? Oh yeah, cash only. I mean, it's just little stuff like that. But in retrospect, they were like the greatest event in the world compared to the people for this. I joined late. Whose line were you in? No, it doesn't matter who the person was. I'm just saying that this event really like I don't after today, I don't ever want to go to another convention again. It's literally a line to get in the room where the actors are. So like you get in you try to get in the room, right? Then you get in the room and then there's another line that like it does the snake formation where people facing left, people facing right, people facing left, people facing right. Oh, you thought you were at the middle point of the line or the end point? Oh no, you're actually only a quarter of the way in. You got to go all the way to the back. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, don't remind me of William Shatner who wanted 300 and I think it was $325 to get my picture taken with him at San Francisco Expo or some event like that. I said, sorry, man. He still wasn't as bad as Mark Hamill, who wanted $400. No, like at first I thought it was crazy to have to because what I noticed is that most of the actors, if you take a photo from your phone, it's about I'd say 40 to $60. Like I haven't seen a picture with an actor that's off of a phone camera that's more than probably like 50, $60, which I still think is a little high, but I mean, comparatively speaking to the 300 some that some of that, Mark Hamill or William Shatner, one of these other people were asking for, it's way more doable. Well, yeah, I told you about. I mentioned the Mark Hamill thing when it happened because I was excited at the prospect. Of, oh man, you get to meet Luke from Star Wars and get a picture with him. Oh, cool. And then I click because you're already gonna have to. I don't live near San Francisco, so I already would have to like drive a while to even get over there. I look at the price; it says $3.99 for a photo, and I'm like, I have a spit take. I'm like, wait, $399 just for because everybody else besides him and Shatner was like $90, $80. Maybe I think someone else might have been 100. Like there was a big gaping cataclysm in terms of his price or their prices and the whole rest of the convention where you could the price of him is like the price of four other people. And I remember I saw that one I was going to do a whole stream about it. They said that Hamill was acting like he was God, charging a price that high. I agreed with them. God, they wanted so much money just for a photo. And like, dude, what gets me is that my friend was right about this. He said when you take a picture with these people at their booths, you could probably like do more customization type things. Some people are taller than others, but when you do it in those professional settings, a lot of times the actor does the same smile. But dude, it's like I'm not listen. We can get into a whole economic discussion some other time, but I'm not against people getting paid for doing things related to their fame. Like I'm not against an actor charging, 30, 40, $50 for their autograph because you can take it and then sell it for 100 or 200 online. That's just making sure they get something back for, writing their name on a piece of paper. But when you're talking about these photos, it's like why does it cost $400 to take a picture with another human being? It's stupid. Even if you were going to get charged something. Okay, but like that's my point. I'm not. This isn't about me being upset that somebody is getting paid to just to be them. It's the price because again, like he charged so much that if you were to take $400 and instead of giving it to him, you can get pictures taken with four other actors at the same event. It's like UPS with the 2 billion less. Fired 12,000 people. And it's like at first I was like, "Oh, damn. They must have really lost a lot of money." Oh, no, only 7% still made over what was it, 20 billion? So it's just greed. I'm not even surprised, man. These companies are firing so many people and they don't even care. And like they put out these soft statements about losing valued employees is not something we take lightly. But they'll throw you out like there's no tomorrow. The second they think it can help their bottom line. Yeah, the management still gets the bonuses. The people at the top aren't hurting. That's one of the reasons why we were talking about like I was opposed to sanctions on a lot of these countries, like Russia, just the different ones that we have conflicts with, because many times it's not the actual leaders of the country that are getting impacted by the sanctions or by any of the other type of economic boycotts that we do. It's the regular people who had no control over public policy. Man, you notice they got completely like pushed aside for Israel. Like you don't even hear anything about Ukraine anymore. I just find that very interesting. It's like they can't chew gum and walk at the same time. They have to like hyper focus on one country's conflict and then just, at the expense of ignoring all the other ones. Yeah, that Joy Behar video, man, people were watching and watching and watching. They just kept coming back and writing more stuff, and I don't know where these guys come from. I really don't. This lady makes one comment. And that's why I said every time people start giving their like stupid advice about, oh, this is how you get views, I just roll my eyes because it's like, here's a video, no special thumbnail. It's just me speaking, like most of them are. And it does better than like damn near everything in one day. or 2 days. But you need to have an HD camera. All right, so for you can't expect that from whatever. I'm not going to relitigate it. Oh, and let's not forget. But dude, like that's my point. I didn't need clickbait. It did great without anything. Like it's literally in the same format as everything else. It's just like when I put up Johnson Par 4 and it had like 400 views in 2 days. Like I didn't share that around in some mass, gathering or whatever. No, I'm just marveling at how everyone people who don't make content are just so brilliant when it comes to like what you can do to get more attention for your stuff. It's fascinating. You had Vince on that other stream talking about make another channel. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna totally start all over instead of just continuing with the success I've already had. Yep, makes a lot of sense. Man, I don't know what's wrong with that guy. He shows up like every 8 months to write something weird. But I told him the most important thing about this site for any content creator is views. After you get past 1,000 followers, not followers, subscribers, all the rest of them, and I felt like subbing to you, but I don't anymore. They can take a hike with that. If you can get your your benefits from views can be the exact same as somebody with 10, 20, or 30 times number of subs as you, as long as the same number of people is watching. No, views attract everything. They attract more subs, more engagement. All of it just comes from views. I don't have the time either. Oh, my favorite thing. Speaking of them trying to squeeze many pennies out of you, is that they wanted $20 for parking, and I said, "Man, I'm tired of paying for parking." So I started to go down the road or whatever, and I'm not kidding. The closest neighborhood, which is where I ultimately ended up parking, what basically parking over there caused me to have to walk 20 minutes. Now I didn't care about walking 20 minutes because I'm an exercise person as far as like I've walked longer distances. Um but yeah, they wanted $20 for parking, 40 to even be able to go to the damn event. And then, when you see the actors, they all have their own individual prices. One person was charging like 50 to take a picture with them, 60 for an autograph. I know they have some combo deal, but I was annoyed. And I was really pissed off because it's like you get there on time, you're early, in fact, and you end up with nothing. Like my whole frustration with the one back in September was that they didn't communicate certain things properly. And that I feel like if I knew some of the stuff I later found out, I would have tried to, get more stuff with different people, right? Instead of like, oh, you get there and then you find out, oh, this person only gets paid through cash and this person wants this much and that person wants that much. And it was also like 2 months before I ended up even being able to getting hired by somewhere. So I was also kind of like more, like anxious about, okay, how much is this? How much is that? But it just is so lame that that event that I had a lot of problems with, now they look brilliant by comparison. They look like geniuses. They look transparent and very smart when you put them up against the clowns that were running this place. Like I don't know what that was. You ever had somebody that you thought was just awful or something you thought was awful and then you compare it? Yeah, those vendors. But you know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever had an experience with something that you thought was really bad, and then you compare it to some other like thing that happens later on, you're like, wow, that wasn't as awful as I thought it was, especially when you compare it to this. Like in hindsight, you're like, oh wow, that was not entirely terrible. Who would have guessed? God, man, I tell you, when I left out of that place, I didn't say goodbye to anybody because I normally don't. These are people you're never going to see again. I just went and walked down the street, got in the car, got a it's like a frappuccino or whatever from Starbucks because I was really tired, just wanted some more energy with some coffee, and went to go on the freeway. Horrible trip to hospitals in USA. Oh yeah, well we can, I mean, we'll be here all night if we talk about the healthcare system in America. That's a flagrant disgrace. I remember this one guy was talking about he was responding to some like cartoon conventions, and he was referencing how he's had like different actors talk about how conventions, a lot of their money comes from just making these appearances because uh many voice actors are like underpaid comparatively speaking to regular actors. Like, oh, you're just a voice, right? So you've had some actors who are like, hey, if I couldn't go to these conventions, I wouldn't be able to pay my car note or um for healthcare, health insurance. I mean, it's really sad that they even have to do that just to make ends meet. The Reuben, the rudeness, the Reuben rudeness. Well, no, not Hamill. I'm talking about just in general. Like you have actors who do depend on convention appearances to subsidize themselves along with the money they made from being whatever they were in. No, Hamill is just greedy. Like that's all that is. That man has Star Wars money. Until about somewhere between when Avengers came out and now, Star Wars was the most successful film franchise ever. And then Marvel knocked it off, but he's not hurting for coins. He's just yeah, I've had mine taken with two different actresses, and both of them were 40. So I think 40 is a good price comparatively speaking to the rest of these people. Some are charging 50, 60. In the case of Hamill, 400. So no, don't feel bad for him. He was making Star Wars money. Any money that he doesn't have is through his own like, I'm not even kidding, dude. If you gave the average person what Hamill made off of just episode 4, 5, and 6 alone, there's almost no way they would just run out unless they were just being completely irresponsible. He's just greedy. Like your Luke and Joker, dude. He's Joker in like 4 or 5 different shows and 4 or 5 different video games. Nah, man, there's no way that like if he doesn't have the money and it feels like he needs to charge people that much when they see him at a convention, take his damn picture with them. It's just greed. I'm not hearing anything else. This is one area where you and me are gonna have to disagree. That man has made coins that most of us will never even see, and I'm supposed to like feel no, no, dude. I'm still like in shock that that thing took that long, like all day, and I just have nothing to show for it. Like I was able to get the picture I wanted at the other one, right? Within less than 20 minutes of it opening. because most of the booths weren't like ridiculously long to where you just couldn't get to the person if you stood in line for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Well, with Fisher, it's a little bit different because she really was just mostly known for Star Wars. I'm saying with Hamill, I just don't believe that, and Fisher did drink, so I guess maybe that's your reference. Um, but with Hamill, it's like you have Star Wars and DC money. Like Hamill has portrayed Joker, one of the most iconic villains ever, in more forms of media than any other actor. So he can kick rocks with that one. Hmm. I was excited to see him until he pulled out that price. Said, okay, well, forget it. Him and William Shatner. It's just too much money, man. Like I have a hard time believing if I were a famous person, I would charge $100+ just to stand next to me in a picture. I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around it. Because you gotta understand, like I feel like I always try to keep myself humble in certain regards, and like I couldn't I can understand charging for an autograph, like that part always makes sense to me, but I just can't will myself to believe that I, as a human being, as a person made of flesh and blood, need you to give me a 3 digit or a number that is creeping on 3 digit um amount of money just to stand next to me in a picture. I can't. Please don't start that up, Jam. I already had one guy come on the Behar video talking about what's with the gloves. It's just stupid stuff. If you saw what my hands look like after washing dishes for 2 months, you would see why I have them on. There was another guy. He was like, "Winter gloves in California." I'm like, dude, do you really think that just because California is known for being hot, that it's not cold over here? Man, when I get off of work at 2 or 3 in the morning, it's freezing. Like my whole back window is covered in ice. No, there's a lot of delusional people online that have an idea of what a state is like, and then they just kind of like go off of the idea. They don't admit like, hey, at certain periods of the year, certain days of the week, the state doesn't look the same way or as no, they don't do that. They don't acknowledge that at all. Most Americans can't find California. It's not even that. It's just like they don't understand that in the South, California is another country. Well, I think I mentioned to you that my grandparents are from the South, so that's actually probably the part of the U.S. I'd be the most fascinated in seeing. Like I still, it might be possible for me to go to Texas this year, and then if I go there, I'll probably try to also branch off to. I think Louisiana's by Texas, right? Let me look at my map. US map. Honestly, I wish I could just print out an American map and like have it behind me and go from there. Uh, yep, Louisiana, and then Oklahoma's right on top. No, I remember when I was in Alabama. I tell you that they have like a freeway where you can go from Birmingham to Atlanta, and all you do, it's so simple. You just drive 100 miles straight, like you just all you're doing is just pressing the gas pedal for 100 miles. And I went on that trip twice because it was just it was so nice to be on a freeway where there's not the loop de loop and switch to this lane, getting that lane. It was much simpler than what I'm used to over here. But I'll the intention I have is to go to Texas at some point, possibly this year, maybe next year, depending on what kind of economic stuff happens. Um, and from then on, while I'm there, there's like I said, a whole bunch of landmarks. You have the Johnson Library, the Bush Libraries, the Fort Worth. Um, but yeah, from there, probably go to Louisiana, see there around there a little bit. Give myself about 5 or 6 days to just check everything out, and then if I go to another state after that, it will be New York because there's those really big ones I want. Everyone talks about New York, but no, I like the South as far as just a place to visit. Like if I had more money, I probably would go to at least one of the southern states. Again, it could be the three I'm the most like fascinated by are well, I guess I should say four. Yeah, it would be like a mixture of like Texas, then Florida, then Georgia, then South Carolina. Man, I'd have a field day in South Carolina. I have a lot of relatives that are over there. Including one that came over here year before last, so it'd be nice to see him again in person. That is. Yeah, I do. Like I said, man, my personal mission or wish would be if I were to, because I said I'm not interested in going to other countries, but I would at the very minimum like to see at least half of the US states before even thinking about, oh, let me go to Canada or the UK or one of these other places. Because there's just so many parts of America, right? Like that people just aren't interested, but like, just not fascinated in going to see, going to look at, being around. Like when I was in Alabama, again, I visited the 16th Baptist Church. I went to George Wallace's grave. When I was in Georgia, I went to the Carter Library and then the King Center, and you have the King's graves there. So there was a lot of attempts on my part to at least show some interest in, like, hey, that was an important thing, 50 years ago, etc. Like if I go to New Jersey, I'll look for probably visit I don't know, what's over there besides the gem house. I'll put that down as an important landmark to check out. Liberty Island. Well, if I went to Virginia, I'd definitely visit Arlington Cemetery. That's where the Kennedy brothers are buried. So, like I said, with each state, there's always at least something there where I can appreciate it and go, yeah. Like if I went to South Carolina, I would visit Thurman's grave. Probably put a flower on it. Him and oh, I didn't forget Princeton. I don't know. I just kind of feel weird going to college campuses as a non-student. If you know what I mean. Like again, maybe that makes me sound crazy. I don't know. I personally don't feel as as comfortable with it as I do with just like going to a historical landmark or even a cemetery. Like I felt very comfortable at the Wallace grave because there was nobody else there. It was just an empty, not empty as in like nothing, but like there was no one, watching me or, why is this car parked here or any of that. And it was funny because I like I said, I recount the story of how I was just like walking in the water trying to figure out where it was, and then I went up the pillar and saw where it said Wallace. Hmm. But no, in general, I'm always up for visiting historical landmarks, or because I so far, like, my biggest issue is I just don't like going by myself to everything that I'm interested in. I just feel kind of, isolated, but that's just the nature of this stuff. Some people are going to be alone, no matter how inclusive they may be of others, no matter how much they may foot the bill for something else, they're just going to be alone. I was actually gonna so I was hoping that Megumi would show up, but he doesn't have to. It's not, whatever. He can, if he wants to watch the replay, he can watch the replay. The stream has the title it does in reference to something that happened this week. I'm gonna get into it in a second. But I wanted to say, it's like every time you think something is different with chicks, like, you think, okay, maybe I misread them as a group. Maybe I was a little too harsh. Maybe if I had a little bit more patience, etc. They always seem, because I said this before. It feels like when you try something with a new one, it's like you're opening a window. Like, you're slowly opening. You're kind of cautious. What's going to crawl in here, whatever. But you're opening the window, opening yourself up in some regard, and then right when it looks like you've become convinced this might actually not be as bad as your past experiences, you get that knife right to the chest. Almost without question, that happens. And I was getting irritated because I talked about, there was this guy that, I was sympathetic towards him when he was talking about how his girlfriend left him for some other guy. Because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that that's good or nice, right? I don't. I'm not like my detractors. I don't sit around hoping for somebody else's misery. But where he started to lose me was when he started, pursuing the whole thing of trying to, like, change my mind, and, if you just tried this, it just was obnoxious to me. And for that reason, I really just don't enjoy speaking to him anymore. Like, I'll still exchange pleasantries, but as far as, oh, I'm gonna give you a ride, and then you're gonna sit here and tell me about how great women are for the next hour and a half, I'm good. I just, some stuff I don't have the patience for anymore. And again, my biggest issue with that guy wasn't even like, because, I said before, I don't expect everyone to be as sick of them as I am, but it's like when you start trying to attack somebody else and talk trash about somebody else because they don't want to sit there and put up with, the great amazing super duper woman. I just can't get behind the logic of that, where you're always supposed to accept other people for who and what they are, but you never get in return. It's always so one-sided. I mean, it's like something inside of them sets off, because I said before that, to me, a lot of them are like split personality. They have this time bomb thing ticking inside of them, where even if you're nice, even if you're decent, it doesn't matter. They'll still treat you like dirt. So I'm gonna try to go through this story. And Jem, I know you're gonna hate me for this, but I don't care. I'm gonna try to go through this. Hopefully, you won't say something nasty about me. Um, Again, I'm attempting to convey this in as clear of a manner as I can. Sometimes when you recount things, maybe you say it in a way that's, like, more favorable to you. That happens. But I do have proof of a lot of what I'm saying, as far as the messages and the various things that were stated on the part of both parties. So, before I begin, let me just make sure I have, because I want to give him credit. I'm gonna make sure I have Megumi's comment. Oh, YouTube is like, what drives me nuts about this site more than anything is just all the updates. Like, every time you turn around, This no longer is this. This is that. Like I said, if you've been on YouTube long enough, you remember how they used to have YouTube friends and the 5-star system and private messages and all the rest of that, and how like it's so different. You almost wouldn't even recognize the site. I cannot find the. I don't want to have to rely on me reading the comments in the stream as the way of knowing what was being stated. I guess if I open it in a separate tab, I can probably pull it up. What I'm trying to do is that normally when I access YouTube on my phone, it'll put up the comment section for the stream. Like it'll have, okay, this person wrote this, person wrote that, and I'm not getting that feature. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm gonna have to just pull it up manually on my computer, which I didn't want to end up doing, but that's what it looks like I'm gonna have to do. So, okay, so during last Saturday's stream, I can't even believe it's only been 1 week. It feels like it's been more than that. But I communicated the idea that I was going to possibly end up asking one of my coworkers if she wanted to, like, see a movie or hang out outside of work. The reason I felt like doing this is because I genuinely believe that out of anyone that worked there besides that guy, that was like the one I had the largest I don't want to say a connection, but this is someone I spoke to repeatedly. I felt like we had a good dialogue, etc. And Megumi said, or rather wrote, ask her if you want, man, but of course, just be cautious of any possible weird stuff. And I tell you, it's like I truly believe that there's something inside of them where they just it has to be screwed up in some way. Okay, so the way this goes is that Monday I see this lady at work, looking radiant as ever, right? Very very nice looking broad. And I she walks past me. There's nobody really around in this little back area that we're in. And I ask her, "Hey," I kind of like call her name a little bit. "You busy on Saturday?" She says, "No." And I say, "Want to go see a movie?" She goes, "Yeah." And then she says that we can like discuss this later, the scheduling of how this will go on Saturday. Now, later in the shift, I get a break, which coincides with a break that she has. And I see her outside. I ask if I can sit down. She says I can. We speak a little bit. We exchange numbers. She kind of like mentions her interactions with her mother. And at the end, I didn't trap anybody, Jem. Jem, listen, uh, if somebody I didn't like or somebody I didn't want to hang out with said, "Hey, you want to go see a movie with me?" I would just say no. Like, as grown adults who do not have to talk to each other outside of business hours, we are free to say, "Yeah, I don't want to do this." So, anyways, back to my story. After we exchange numbers, she's like, "Hey, I gotta have to go back to my shift." But she gets up and she goes, question. And look at what the title of the stream is. "We're going as friends, right?" And I said, yeah. And she's like, "Okay, thank you. Bye." You know, you probably don't remember, Jem, but there was a woman that worked with me I was at this cleaning place about a year and a half ago, about a little bit over a year ago. And I had a good dialogue with this lady. I thought I had a good dialogue with this lady. So I asked her if, maybe I could speak to her through an email. I didn't want to say a phone number because I didn't feel like I thought I'd be much more likely to get the email. And oh, you do? Okay, so you remember that how when I sent her a message asking her what her hobbies were, just again attempting to get to know her, she's like, "I am spending the holidays with my boyfriend, and I will see you again next year." I'm like, "What the hell?" Just completely ignores my question, brings up this guy out of nowhere, just weird stuff, right? I'm telling you, man, these chicks really believe that any man that talks to them, it doesn't even like, listen, I could completely understand if I came up to her and I was like, "Hey, so you want to come to my place next Saturday and maybe hang out and nobody around." I would understand completely why she would believe that was me trying to do something. But I feel like as adults, there's like a reasonable expectation that I don't believe someone is going to become my girlfriend because they agreed to see a movie with you. I even told my friend, I said, when she asked me, "We're going as friends, right?" I should have said, "No, we're going as a married couple." Like it's just so stupid. Like just what I mean? Like there's a process to these things. Like, hey, maybe if you go to a movie with this person multiple times and like you initiate physical contact with them and they're reciprocating of it, then that might happen. But if you guys are just watching a movie, nobody's touching anyone, nobody's making out, none of that, then I don't really see where you would get this idea from. So Tuesday, the day after Monday, I know I'm stupid for saying that, but just like the day after Monday, I sent her a message and I ask, "When can I call you?" Because I don't want to just like randomly call her out of nowhere. I want to make sure that if I call, she answers, we get to speak. And I want to have a call so I can kind of like iron out the details. Like, am I picking you up? Are you driving yourself over there? We both have cars. Um, what time do you want to go? Because I didn't say the time at the time. I know that's redundant on my part. Just again, ironing out the logistics. And she doesn't answer this message on Tuesday. Whole day goes by, no response. Doesn't answer on Wednesday. So then I see her again on Thursday, working together again. And I ask her, "Hey, do you want to go on Saturday at 4? Is that a good time for you?" She's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." So later on in that same shift, I ask her, "Hey, so when's a good time I can call you?" Just mentioning that, alluding to the fact she never replied to the text I sent her. And she says, "I'm not really a call person." And when I heard that, I started thinking of a lot of things. I thought about Reddit, all those stupid chicks on there. They post a little help wanted signs. "I want somebody to talk to and be my friend, but please don't call me. I only speak by text messages." And I swear to you, out of all the years of dealing with crazy women, both in real life and online, these chicks that have like 15 different personalities. I've never seen one in real life, like one that I met through real life, working a job at the mall, whatever. I've never seen one in real life that's like, "I will never let you hear my voice over the phone." So that was the one of the like clues that something is going on here. Now I pointed out to her that no, actually I sent you a text message because the thing about text messages is it's harder to do the whole like I'm just so busy I can't respond thing. And so she says that she forgot. She'll respond eventually, whatever. So her shift ends at 10. I'm there until what ends up being 3 in the morning. I send her a message and I ask, "Hey, so do you know any good theaters around where you live?" Because again, I'm still trying to like iron out the logistics of this damn thing, this hookup, I guess you could call it. Um, this rendezvous with the woman who thinks I want to be her boyfriend, like all the other chicks that have inflated egos. And she responds and says, "Oh yeah, there's a theater around here, and I'm gonna let you know if I'm available tomorrow because my mom wants to go see family in this other city that's like an hour away." And I'm thinking to myself, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. You're gonna have somebody believe, like, you think about it. You agree to go see a movie on Saturday, on Monday, and then on Friday you're like, well, I might not be able to go because my mother wants to go see relatives. And so I just kind of play it by the ear. So the plan for today, before everything just fell apart in front of my face, was that I would go to the convention in the morning, 10, 11, 12, 1. Hopefully get the pictures with the, actors that I liked. And then after leaving there at about 2, 3, have an hour to go and drive and meet this person at whatever theater that they gave me the address to. But that did not happen. Instead, I had my time wasted by the stupid convention that ultimately didn't, service me in any meaningful way. And as I was sitting there and it started to get like around 3 o'clock, like I wanted to kind of give her a little bit of time to respond. So I asked her, it's like 2 something, right? Are you are you at home? Which is in reference to her saying, I'll let you know if I'm at home or not. And she responded, no, sorry. I didn't even say anything after that. I just put my phone back in my pocket, sat at that place for about another hour, and then I left. Literally, I got back right before I started streaming. Like, I've been gone from 9 o'clock this morning all the way up until about an hour ago. Now, I want you to understand something. This was not romantic. This was not something that I intended to be start the beginning of a that's dead. I've said before I'm not interested in that stuff. Plus, you know, she doesn't appeal to me in that way anyway. But what I'm really irritated by is that when I try to hang out with someone, and I mean this with as much sincerity as I can possibly muster, I try as hard as I can to keep my word. So if I have other stuff that's happening on Saturday, I either try to arrange it in such a way that they don't conflict, or that I can still meet both. Like with this convention, I said I can't, get rid of these tickets. So I'll go here in the morning, and if I can't get this stuff by whatever time, then I'll just leave and I'll go and meet this person later on. As to not have them waiting, all night or whatever. But as I sat here and I thought to myself, I said, isn't it crazy that I can go out of my way to make sure that the thing I told them I wanted to do this Saturday is possible for me to do this Saturday. But then on their part, they're like, well, my mother said this family that we're going to see today, is something she wants to do. So you just have to do this. And it's like, am I supposed to believe that she had no idea that she might possibly have to go see this family on Saturday, back on Monday? Why did it take until the night before the meet? Well, you look like, man, look, you could call it lies. I whether it's true or not, it doesn't negate the fact that you led someone to believe literally all the way up until last night that you were going to do something with them, and then you backed out of it. Like, I'm supposed to work with her tomorrow. I don't even want to look at her. If she says something to me, oh, I know they don't, dude. I know chicks don't care. They do screwed up stuff, and then their little white knight defenders spawn out of the sky and the ground to come and go. Well, maybe if you had done this and said that, and you probably scared her. All that trash, dude. Listen, I spoke to her about doing this on Monday. 2 very short conversations. I sent her 2 text messages in total before today. And I had 1 interaction with her on Thursday. That was the full extent. You could put all those interactions together and it's probably less than maybe 15 minutes. Like, it's not that much. I was pretty hands off. The only thing that was causing me to kind of like try to get more involved was just figuring out the logistics. Like, hey, or what time, Where's the theater? Da 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 da. Look, I'm not speculating on any of the alternate scenarios. What I'm telling you is I'm very pissed off that I set aside multiple things I could have been doing today to hang out with this person and basically got a middle finger for it. I'm not even kidding. To sit in a line for 5 or 6 hours, not even get to meet the actors you want to take pictures with, and then like you have this person that you wanted to meet later on in the day that's like, oh well, it was just adding insult to injury. Like when it rains, it pours. I'm serious, man. Like I try so hard to keep promises that I make, pledges I make. Like it was tearing me up that I wasn't able to do part one of FDR for as long as I didn't or wasn't hadn't put it out, whatever. Um, but eventually it came out, right? I kept saying, okay, I've got this part done, that part done. So I'm not like making it up that I'm making this stuff. It's just because I'm working and I'm also, dealing with that congressional campaign nonsense. It just isn't as, you know, done as quickly as I would like, admittedly. But again, I'm still trying, like, hell. I just realized the thumbnail is me with my hand over the face palm. It's pretty accurate. Like that's really how I feel. Just like that. When I saw my screen and I read that trash, said, "Here we go again." But really, it's like I'm not even. I could when I just am walking to myself, go and curse and talk about how stupid she is, but honestly, I feel more upset with myself because remember I told you about like the self parody and how it's the idea that if something keeps happening to you, you shouldn't like be shocked or surprised when it happens again. I shouldn't like I shouldn't be surprised that she did this because we know it's a thing that women do. They say one thing and then do the opposite. And I'm not kidding. Like it really felt like she had two separate personalities. The one on that met me on Monday that was excited to go and that to where I didn't even have to say what the movie was for her to be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not busy. Yeah, let's do it." And then the one on Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday that was either ignoring my messages or making excuses for why they couldn't do the thing. So it's like which version is the real her? That's what I said, man. I'm really I'll just put it to you like this. I said women are like poison and people get mad or whatever, but if you can get this irritated trying to do something with a lady that's not even, someone you're trying to date or to have any kind of romantic shenanigans with, like that one in with the boyfriend that was like, "Oh, you're cheating on me with him" or whatever. What's even the point of like trying to have anything with any of them? Like if they're going to waste this much of your time and do the whole runaround nonsense, why should you believe anything they say ever? Like I'm dead serious. When in the last few times I've gone to that job, I don't even make jokes anymore. I don't even like show any attempt at humor or happiness because like they for what? You try to act nice to people, they don't say anything to you. They fear it, but they want it. My friend, he said it would be a hell of a twist if, like, when I said, because she was like, we're going as friends, right? If I was like, if when I said, yeah, that disappointed her. It's like, no, because I don't know. Like, I think if I were actually interested in someone, some woman, and she said, we're going on this thing, I probably wouldn't directly ask if it was romantic. If I was actually, trying to make it that way, like not be as obvious about what I'm into or whatever. But that would be fun. That would have been funny, I'll admit. Should have said as enemies. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna be enemies after today. If she says hi to me tomorrow, I'm gonna act like I don't even hear it. Man, it's not easy to try and like be friends with people. I'm not kidding. You're better off having enemies than having friends. No, no, like listen, I'm not gonna go up and confront her and be like, why would you do this to me? What I will do is if she says, dude, like, no, I'm not, I would never do that, especially in a work environment. If she tries to raise the issue, I'll respond as calmly as I can and say, I am disappointed. I don't know why you did this. And that's it. But if she tries to like say hi and all the rest of that, garbage, I'm not answering. It's not okay. No, I think if you don't bother, man, don't say be civil like I'm about to curse somebody out. What I'm getting at is I would go out of my way to just not mention it or even like speak to her, period. Again, unless it's like something work related, right? And if she directly raises the issue and says, like I really want to do this with you, etc., I will then say, well, if you actually wanted to do this, you should have let me know that you were unavailable earlier. I deleted my whole schedule for that day for you. And when are you next available if this is truly something you want to do? Because if I was like, damn man, I'm sorry, I can't do this today, I would say, hey, look, this time we can do it. I'll clear everything out, whatever. She can say you are no, no, you can't get in trouble if you're not bothering somebody. Nice try. Literally, like if you don't say anything to someone, you can't get in trouble for it. I had a bimbo that was saying that I was pissing her off when I tried to help her clean up the mess she made, and I made like a joke about, "Oh, how could you spill this?" It's like she didn't get in trouble for talking that way to a coworker that was assisting her. She can add context. What context? Nobody's bothered. Like, okay, Jem, I think you might be overthinking this. Um, the only thing I plan on doing is minding my own business. If she says something about it to me, I will, in a calm way, res- damn Megumi, I'd hate to tell you to go and rewatch the whole thing, but it's been quite a week. I'll tell you that. Like, you know what? Forget the woman thing. I said that convention that I went to back in September was like tacky. They look like geniuses compared to the people that ran the one today. That man, I'll put it to you like this: when you go to a place and you're willing to pay 100 something dollars to get pictures with two actors, and all you leave out of there with is your money and a hurt back, it's trash. Anyways, Megumi, to give you the abridged version, I asked this lady on Monday if she was busy. She said no. I asked her if she wanted to go see a movie, and then she said yes. And I started, when she left, I started smiling a little bit. So then we spoke later on that day, exchanged numbers. She got up out of her seat and she asked the question as the stream's title. We're going as friends, right? And I said, yeah. And then after that, I sent her a text message on Tuesday asking when I could call her so I could iron out the details. Never responds to text message. On Thursday, I asked her if 4 o'clock for today is good. She says yes. I asked her why she didn't respond to the damn text message. She says she's not really a call person, which reminds me of all the times those stupid chicks on Reddit and all the other dumb sites talk about, I don't speak by phone. I don't speak by phone. But this is the first time I've seen one in real life do that. So it's even more insane. She promises to respond to a text message. Um, and then literally, like, when she finally replies, it's like, oh yeah, but by the way, my mom wants me to go and hang out with family on the same day that I agreed to meet you at the theater, so I might not be available. And then today, what my plan was I would go to this crappy convention, get the stuff taken care of in the morning, early afternoon, and then go over to see her later on the day. And the convention was a total garbage fest, 5 hours of me standing in line for nothing at all. And while I was standing in line, I sent her a message asking, are you home? She said, no, sorry. And I didn't even respond after that. So, all in all, I got really excited at the prospect of, hey, I can do something with someone from work. Never happened before. She seemed like she wanted to do it at first, and then she reneged. She flip flopped. She took it as like a romantic thing. And I'm not even kidding. Sometimes when this stuff is happening, it's like in my mind, I get literal. I don't want to call it PTSD because I'm not trying to sound like some veteran, but like the second she asked me, we're going as friends, right? I instantly thought back to that thing from over a year ago with that lady at the last place I worked, who you send them an email, ask them what their hobbies are, and she's gonna talk about she's traveling with her boyfriend. And this isn't even actually the first, dude. I'm not even kidding. It's like everything is just a remake. This isn't even the first time that one of these crazy chicks has agreed to do something with me and then like backed out of it. What back when I was in 11th grade, I had a classmate I liked. I thought she was nice looking with her fake hair. And I asked her, hey, you do anything on Saturday? She said no. I said, you want to hang out? She said yes. I had her number, sent her a message, ask. This is before I had my own car, before any of the stuff. But literally, agreed to do this. Sent her a message that day, no response. And then at school, act like nothing ever happened. So tomorrow, because I'm working with this broad tomorrow, I'm gonna treat her like she doesn't even exist. If she asks me something about like, hey, can you pass me this? Can you get that? I'll comply. But as far as like, hi, nothing at all. Dude, I'm not even kidding. Like, literally, I'm starting to think some of these chicks have split personality. Like, you know, you'll probably consider me a jerk for saying this, but sometimes I really just want to walk around and record all this stuff. If you heard how readily she accepted going to going to the movies to see a movie that she doesn't even know what it is with me, to then like doing the whole we're going as friends, right? And then like 2 days with no, you send her a text message, she doesn't respond for the like it really feels like these people have split personalities. Like you don't know which one they're going to be today. Are they going to be the one that's excited to go to the theater with you on Monday and is telling you on Thursday, oh yeah, 4 o'clock works and bye and all the rest of that stuff? Or is she going to be the one that ignores your text messages and suddenly I'm going to go see family in another city? Like it's crazy. Dude, I really believe you. I've experienced this myself firsthand. It's absolutely crazy. I'm just saying, like, if some of these bastards need to give up like working at these restaurants and just go become actresses. Because if you saw how giddy she seemed on Monday and for that portion of Thursday, and then like how distant she was toward the latter part of Monday and toward, when she's writing all this trash and text, but like it's two different people. It has to be. She felt trapped. You set her up. Are you free on Saturday? Dude, get out. Please get out of my face with that. I'm not going to be accountable. I'm not doing that today. If someone that I did not like asked me, do you want to see a movie on Saturday with me? I would say no. Hell, I had a guy that was trying to talk to me from the my at the job through Piscord, and I said I don't even use that stupid site anymore. If you want to contact me on my number, whatever, but I'm not going through the you know shenanigans of like trying to make an account or whatever. No, we are rational. She is not. Well, I'm gonna show you what real irrationalness is tomorrow. Seriously though, it really does seem that way by the way a lot of these chicks act. Those split personalities. What's the name of that candy? The Sour Patch. First they're sour, then they're sweet. We have the reverse. First they're sweet, then they're sour. Dude, she better not like. I really hope she doesn't try and ask me anything about this tomorrow. That's all I can say because my response is not going to be nice, and I'm not going to curse anyone out or yell or anything. I'm just going to say I'm disappointed. That's it. I really hope she doesn't try and inquire or nothing. She will not make eye contact. Oh, I bet you she doesn't. No, it's funny because like the place where I'm in, that area I mentioned like on the stream last week, you literally have to walk by me to get anything. So I have people walking by left and right. They just don't say anything. And I will not say anything to her. I won't even look at her because I think I get there before she does. There's just no end to this, it seems. Why couldn't she have at least send you a message saying she couldn't make it? Dude, I'm not even kidding. If she had said back on Tuesday, hey, look, this thing came up, but like maybe we can do it next Saturday, right? Because again, you're still trying to pretend you're interested, right? In hanging out with me. Wouldn't even be, I would say, hey, look, this might, I would have just kept it hidden, like not said anything, be like, okay, we'll see how that plays out next weekend. But she's not passing you on the marrow. She may call out. Nah, there's no damn way that she's gonna give up money just because I'm there. Do you know how many people I have at that job I don't like? Between the racist managers and the worker, I mean, come on. I describe to you the people there, and they don't cause me to call out. Like I literally lived with someone I hated for 10 years. I'm not about you think being around a couple of jerks at a job for 8 hours is like the end of me? No. Stronger than that. Yeah, at least do something like that. The very least, what she did to you makes herself seem she didn't care about keeping her word to you. And dude, I swear, I deleted almost everything I had planned for today. I said on Monday, all right, she agreed to it. So Saturday, I'm gonna still go to this convention. But I'm gonna only stay there. It's supposed to like end at 6, right? That was like an hour and a half ago. I'm gonna be there only until about 2 o'clock at the latest, and then go and see her. Like I'm if you don't get the irony of like someone telling you they can't hang out with you after like on the day where you've literally gotten rid of everything else just to hang out with them, I don't know what else to tell you. God, man. She is irrational. She don't give a like I said, I'm not gonna say one word. It's sad that adults act like this. It really is. Because there's no there like even back when I was younger and I had like I'm not even kidding, back when I was a kid and I would go over to my friend's house, if I didn't want to go over his house because he made me mad, I would at least still call and be like, hey, maybe next weekend we can hang out, whatever. I'm just not feeling it today. Like I did that as a kid. These are grown women that act like children. Like act as if they're afraid to just say, hey, look, something happened or whatever. I know I would be very upset if I had to drop or cancel my plans to hang out with someone and they did that to me. Man, you should have seen me when I was walking away from that convention. I was just swearing up and down the street, just the fact that you go to this event and you don't get what you want, and then toward the end of the time you're at the event, you're like, okay, at least I can hang out with this person now. Not have to worry about sitting up here with these stupid people and the waste of money that this was. Oh no, I'm busy too. I can't. I'm not at home. Sorry. I said, talk about adding insult to injury. I was like, all right, well, I guess next thing I'll get an email from my job saying they fired me. Like, it just can this day get any worse? Dude, that's like the worst. double wham I've had since I got the call from one of my from it was like it was back in I think May or April of 2021 where first I got like a text message from a voice actor who I've been working with for years, and they were like, "I'm not doing this anymore. Sorry, I'm so busy with real life. Da, da, da. Too bad you waited for me all those different times. To hell with you." And then like hours later, my like within 2 3 hours of that, my manager called me at that restaurant I was working at and said that I was fired. I was like, man, that the way I was feeling, I was just waiting for my roof to collapse on my head. It was bad. God, I've seen better days than that one. The issue is they are put on a pedestal. Men approach women all the time. Oh, of course, I know that they do, but uh it still doesn't make any sense for her to think I want to be her boyfriend because I asked if she wanted to go see a movie. Like I could completely understand if I was like grabbing on her and I was going, "Hey, want to come back to my place on Saturday? No one's around. My relatives are all out of the house." But I didn't do that. I just said, "Hey, you wanna go see a movie?" So I said, "I just feel like I can't win." Yeah, but a guy coworker simply asking to hang out to go dude, when when she said, "We're going as friends," right, I really should have said instead of saying, "Oh," because it did catch me off guard, but I really should have said, "No, we're going as a married couple," or, "No, we're going as enemies." Imagine you go to the theater when you're, like, scowling the whole time. "You want some popcorn? You want some butter? You want a ticket?" That'd be funny if she asked to go to a movie after like tomorrow and like we can go to the movies, but we're not going as friends. We're going as enemies. Bring my nunchucks. Dude, that would have been hilarious. I'm sure that definitely would have caught her off guard. Well, I was just trying so desperately to like I guess it's like this. I make a lot more jokes when it's kind of, some that's not really serious or like when I think it's a friendly thing. Having a coworker ask if we're going as friends, uh kind of made me uncomfortable because it's like, okay, she thinks I'm trying to date her. Uh I gotta dispel this rumor. It's like she lit a fire and you have to put it out. So if she asks if I want to go see a movie, I'm gonna say sure, but we can't go as friends. We have to go as enemies after that thing you did. I think I mentioned I had a coworker who was he bought a new phone and one of our other coworkers was like, "How good's the camera?" And he said this right by the manager's office. And the coworker was like, "I thought you were talking about their security camera." like, like he's asking how good the camera is in the building, which there's actually like 14 of them or a whole bunch, right? And he's gonna just come and case the place later. Like I'm just imagining they have this like blurry pic because they are hard to see because they're all on this small computer screen, you know, like side by side. Oh, yeah, I know they have audio. That's why I said you're being surveilled. Everywhere you go, you're being recorded. I'm serious. There are some streets you can walk down over here, and you'll hear like the "Hi, you are being recorded" or some message like that. Like people believe in just burning money on recording, and like like at least with Ring, the way it works is like you come up to the porch. Some of these people have it to where you walk down the sidewalk next to their house and you're recorded. And like it's stupid because it's like this is a public street. You know what I mean? Like there shouldn't be an ability by a person that, is just living in this neighborhood to be able to record the sidewalk. Mm. Yeah, I'm getting real sick of all the cameras. Well, it's really like that in the US. I'll put it to you like this. Um, Out of the last 4 jobs I've had, actually, no, let me put it back. Out of the 6 jobs I've had, could be 7. I'm remembering 6, but maybe I'm forgetting something. Every single one of them has had security cameras except for 1. Like 5 of them have had it to where you go in this room, you're being recorded. You go in that room, you're being recorded. Oh, it's not just California. You can go online and look up all types of security camera footage videos of stores getting robbed and people crashing their car into windows. I mean, it's all over America. We live in a surveillance state. I'm really sick of camera of just being taped every minute of every day. Oh, by the way, we want to bring up some more T2 references. I was watching stuff on Monday night, and there's this thing where I mentioned before what they do is they bring stuff way later than they're supposed to. Like the place will close at 10 and they're still bringing you new stuff at like 12 and 1. And man, I was just circling through all these things to where at the end of it, all I could say, I had a coworker next to me. I was like, I need a vacation. Just worn out from washing every single thing in the building, like I'm definitely not getting any rest today, man. Like you get on this freeway, 50-mile drive to and back from there, so 100 miles. You stand in a line for 5 hours. Oh boy. I tell you, when this stream is over, the first thing I'm doing is maybe I'll record like a video or two and I'm laying down. I just wish they showed you more respect for the line of work that you do. They don't care. I'm an expendable employee. It's funny. It's like the job where I feel the most secure is the one where I feel like they like me the least. Imagine that. Like you're doing something that they can't get almost anyone else to do. So you kind of feel like they're not going to just get rid of you because this thing wasn't as cleaned as they would like, or maybe you took a little bit longer than they would have preferred on that. Like, come on, there's no way they would do. And like I genuinely believe these people might actually keep me for the foreseeable future, but they don't like me. I mentioned that's one of the reasons why the one that did the thing today, she stood out so much because I can count on like one hand the number of people up there that seem to actually be fond of you know, speaking to me or talking to me or whatever. The rest are just like, do this, where's this, where's that. Well, they don't care. I told you about the one crazy lady with the nose ring that got mad at me for making a joke after she spilled stuff, and even though I was helping her to pick it up, she was like, "Just go back to doing the dishes. You're pissing me off." It's like you wouldn't see her speak that way to the rest of them. I haven't seen her speak that way to the rest of them. But look, that's why I said her and her stupid nose ring, they can get lost. And what is it with like chicks with nose rings always acting the nastiest? Like the broad in Speed Up Session had a nose ring. They had this lady today that wouldn't give me a ticket for the to stay in line. She had a nose ring. I don't know what it is about these nose ringed women and like just acting weird, man. Like extra aggressive. And like I said, man, I'm not even someone who's trying to like judge people over their appearances, but it's one thing to have, all the different makeup. We talked about how this one likes to always have on her little eyeliner and her lipstick or whatever other trash she puts on her face, and then the manicured fingernails. But like, dude, I'm not kidding. The one that acted like that at this job has a nose ring, and then the one from Speed Up Session had, and it's like it's always on one nostril, and it's a woman who's always around like 5'2", 5'3", 5'4", kind of like on the shorter. Well, I guess that's like average height for chick, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's a woman that like generally is about that same height. They got a slender frame, relatively long hair. I don't know what it is about these nose ringed, nasty chicks. Like I don't get it. I don't know why that's just a thing that they have in common. Beats me. I'm serious. Like the one from that other place and the one from this place, they don't look alike. I don't think they look similar to each other, but they have basic physical characteristics that are eerily similar. They're both of a slender frame. They have some nice bodies on these nice little skinny broads. One of them is like, 21. The other one is like significantly older. I know that because she had kids and whatever, been married in the past. Um, they have the nose ring that's always in that one nostril. They have some long hair that they, for the most part, tie back, and they are almost always like cleaning something, or they'll talk and make jokes with other people, but then when they're around you, they're kind of cold, they're kind of distant. At least with the other nose ring one, she started to kind of try to act nicer toward the end of it, because she saw that after she said you should be done, I was like, okay, to hell with this. I'm not going to be nice to you anymore. I'm not even going to try to be friendly toward you. I'm done. Like literally, that was my policy. After she came and said that, I only spoke to her when spoken to. I think she caught on to it at some point, but it was too late. Hell, I look like trying to be friends with somebody that acts that way toward me. You're not in a higher position, but you're gonna try to tell me I should be finished trying to make sure this place isn't nasty. Whatever. Just jerks, man. I gave a server a $25 tip, and she asked for my number. She had a nose ring. Megumi, what would I look like if you and I have the exact same position, and in spite of us being in the exact same position, I feel like I can tell you should be finished doing whatever you're doing? Doesn't that sound like something a manager would say to you? Because I have coworkers that take, in my opinion, long everywhere to do stuff that I think could be done faster. And I've never gone and been like, hurry up. Why isn't this finished? Like, I'm not their boss. Deserves a slap. No, I would have been in way too much trouble if I tried that. I'm not even kidding. There's like an influx of these chicks that act like they're God. I had one woman at a job tell me not to, that I couldn't look at her. I was like, huh? And it wasn't even on no like, oh, you're making me uncomfortable. Like it's literally just her trying to tell you what you can and can't do. I'm like, I can look at whoever I want to look at. Maybe I like what I see. Of course, I wouldn't say that because then you get in actual trouble. But it's just, imagine what I would look like telling you can't look at me. Like what? I bet these kind of chicks haven't experienced any sort of discipline or scrutiny for their behavior. Oh no. I tell you about, I was at that restaurant and they were all giggling and joking around, and the manager shows up and they all run and race to get in their assigned positions and posts. Dude, it was funny because it's like a skit. They're like this. Yeah, man, I was talking about this, and then, oh, he's coming through the door. like like literally, they go from this calm, relaxed, yeah, dude, I saw her yesterday and she was talking to me. And then the second they hear that door open, the second they see that manager coming through the parking lot, always parks in the same spot, opens his door up to get out, they zap right out of there. So they feel they can say or do whatever to anyone and they think it's all good. Yeah, that's some preschool stuff behavior. What the Well, I told you you saw some preschool stuff as recently as a week or two ago when that woman, told on me to the manager for trying to clean the thing she was putting in the clean place after just using it, and then stuck her tongue out at me like we were in preschool. Like I've never had anyone at any job I've had before try, like, sometimes you get caught by the manager doing something maybe not correct, whatever, but like I've never had coworkers trying to get me in trouble, you know, seemingly just for the hell of it. Oh, and of course they, noticing their plot armor as well. They're all friends. That's why, like, literally the last couple of shifts, I don't even talk to any of them for the most part. I just like do the work and then, that's it. Oh, I didn't even get to tell you that this really should be a whole stream by itself. The thing with, yeah, like with Mark Hamill, we were because before you showed up, Megumi, we were talking about how Mark Hamill wanted, and I showed it on another stream, the $400 to go to take a picture with him at the convention, and how somebody was like saying that even like Academy Award winning actors don't charge that much for a picture or an autograph, and that he was acting like he was God. And I was imagining that you go to a convention and Hamill is there, and then like right on the side of him is a booth, and there's a man with like a white beard and a white robe, and it says like 50 for autograph, and you're like, and he's like, "What? You thought heaven was free?" I never thought, see, that you were. It's like somebody can charge hundreds of dollars just to stand next to them in a stupid picture. Young Link asks, "What is your dream career like? Something you will do every day for life with no regrets?" Well, if I were able to make a decent income from it, I would actually focus on the, like I'm doing this restaurant stuff and all these other places, but the woman I actually love, the news and documentaries and whatnot, that would be way more preferable to any of this other nonsense. What kind of price is that? I'm not kidding. When I first looked at Hamill's price at the convention, I thought it was a joke. Like literally, like I had to double check. Because the other people that were there were like 90, 100, like way, not cheap, but way cheaper than him. Imagine you go to the the convention and you see like God is there and he's charging 40 for a picture with him, 70 for, like, imagine the autograph price is like your age. Like, and then when you're like, why like let's say your grandma's there, why you charge me damn near $80 just to get your autograph? It's like, hey, I have to pay for heaven for the afterlife somehow. And that's the joke that like even God is charging less than Mark Hamill. Hey, you thought heaven was free? Oh, it's absolutely a shakedown. It's a shakedown, a grift. I mean, well, I told you I'm sympathetic to the autograph because there is like an economic reason to charge more for that. But the picture, that really shouldn't cost anywhere near as much as what he wanted. The resellers, man, I'm telling you, they'll take a picture that some actor will sign for like 40, 50, $60 and charge you 200 for it online. I'm not even kidding. Like I know some of the, like I've seen some of these actors at conventions. They do not charge anywhere near the money that these bastards are trying to gouge you out of. Like it's nuts. I'm thinking about like how that one line was like a precursor to everything screwed up with her. Like when she said, "We're going as friends," I was like, "Oh no, there's something's gonna go wrong. I just feel it." Man, I was riding. You should have seen the look on my face after she, said yes and walked away. I was like, "Yeah." And then by the end of the night, I was like, "Okay, well, we'll see how this goes." And then by like Thursday, I was like, "Yeah, this is getting kind of weird." And then yesterday when she was talking about going to see family in another city, I was like, we're not surprised. Oh no, he does that. He writes like one comment and then goes, "Don't bother. Just leave him alone." I tell you, people love drive-by type and they go vroom, vroom. They come and make these cameos. Well, I tell you, like, I don't have a problem with new people showing up on streams because I've seen that guy that was here last Saturday, the one Mac Tunes or whatever his name was talking about building a computer. Like literally, they write. There was a damn account on. I told you there was some woman that was like, "I noticed your shirts," and then she just stopped writing anything. And then I went on YouTube and like looked up her channel, and her last video had one view. That's what I'm saying. That's what she would do. She would go to people's channels, write weird stuff to promote herself, and then you go to her. And then after YouTube took off the ability to view channel, all her views went away because people don't care. Yeah, I looked at her channel. Her last video had one view. Said, "Damn, no wonder she's trying to ride my coattails." Well, that Behar video, it did a lot better than I thought it would. I'm saying it'll be the most random video that people just keep watching and clicking, and it just starts spiraling out of control. Like I was looking at I was like, "Wait, what? 403 hours? What?" Like it's weird, man. I'm contemplating doing another romance video, and I'm it won't be on her because there's not enough content yet. Keyword yet. I only have like 5 text messages with her, and then the rest of it is just me recounting what happened. You were on fire. I tried to trigger in the comments. Also, I'm sad to admit this possible fact, but your skin color definitely plays a part in the trouble you receive at your workplace. I mean, hey, I didn't call it my unpopular color for no reason. Like literally, I spoke to some of the other blacks that are there, and they said the same thing. Like it's the same couple of people that act the way that they do towards like all of us. I tell you, when that big giant manager that was there like said hi to me that one day, I actually like put my hand over my chest for a second because it surprised me so much that in like literally in 2 months of working there, I'd never had this lady say hello to me, not once. I was like, she must be in a really good mood. Yeah, like imagine if I worked with you for 2 months. Jem, make sure when you clean this, you're using that. Jem, go and run over here. Jem, you're gonna go over here. Jem, you're gonna take your and then one day out of the clear blue sky, hi Jem. You're like, whoa, hello. Dude, that was more surprising than when I got my car. Like I told you that it was just 4 years of having a license with no vehicle. And when I was finally handed that key, I started pinching myself like this can't be real. This is some kind of gimmick. I gotta wake up from this. That's how I felt when the one romance video like went, got the 200,000 views, where like every day there were like 50 or 60 new subscribers. Like, what's going on? What happened? There's no way. I need to get out of this dream. I said 1,000 subs on a channel that's been around for 9 years. That earlier this year didn't even have probably like 300. Yeah, right. I said YouTube must be malfunctioning. What's going on? That's how I felt with that video yesterday. Like 1,000 in less than 48 hours. Like what? It was just spiraling out of control. I was like, where are these people coming from? I'm serious. Sometimes stuff happens on these sites and on just in real life where I'm like, I can't even believe this. I told him I went to that interview and the manager said, you know what, we'll hire you. I was like, huh? Excuse me? I'm waiting to get back home and get my rejection email. Like, what do you mean hire me? Haven't had a job in 11 months. So when bad stuff happens over and over again, you just get so like desensitized to any good. That's why when I did the documentary, the first one back in September, Jem was talking about, I finally have a channel that's worth watching. I was like, huh? Wow, he must be really impressed. He said, it took you a long time, but you've done something right at last. I mean, I said before, I learned to accept the subscriber count. Like I genuinely do not care about subs. As long as I can maintain a decent viewership on older stuff and newer stuff, I'm content. Because there's nothing I can do at 10,000 subs that I can't do at 2,000. So they're useless to me. Like people actually come and threaten that they're going to unsubscribe or that they're not going to subscribe. And I'm like, okay, go shoot, because most of them don't even watch my stuff. It's just an inflated number. I'm not even kidding. I think I've probably subscribed to maybe 2 channels in like the last 3 years. Like I'm not even saying to be funny. It's very rare for me to sub to anyone. Yeah, no, a lot of people tend to use the aftermath of your experience like that as the reason you're having bad things happen. Well, you saw. Well, no, you didn't see it, but this guy, the one that I was talking about earlier, he, projection is such a lovely thing, isn't it? Where you say one thing about yourself and then you're like, you are actually this. He was talking about he was having that woman, right, like asking him to come and meet with her and all the rest of that, but then he's lusting off after some broad at the job, and then he was saying that oh, if only he had a car and his own dog, he would he wouldn't have lost his girlfriend, and then he tries to tell me that I'm single because I'm not focused on myself, and I'm like, and like I guess what gets me is that yes, he actually said, and Jem, that's why I said I want to make a private stream where I can just go into more detail about this stuff and like be more revealing with certain things because you know, trust me, there's a lot of stuff I hold back even at this stage, but I'm not kidding. There was a sequence where when he said you're not focused on yourself and that's why you're single, I started to walk away from that damn guy. It is goofy, but it's also very offensive to have someone who doesn't know you try and like analyze your personality and tell you that they always can find the fatal flaw right in the man every time, no matter what. And I'm just sick of it. I was very offended. I'm like, how the hell are you going to sit here and tell me what? Dude, imagine again, like you're not focused on yourself as you work a job to pay your bills, as you try and I mean, like literally, I'm promoting myself on this site. I don't know, like what portion of me as a person that doesn't waste their time fruitlessly approaching a bunch of women that doesn't like them is supposedly quote unquote not focused on himself. It's stupid. Like it's just dumb. But that's why that guy has been falling and fading into more irrelevancy. Like I barely even talk to him at this point. Yeah, I think he's delusional. But if women stick to the way that they are, he'll learn the hard way. It'll just be a lot later than some of us. Well, I told you we still have to make the romance comic book. It's literally just people like saying things and they don't care if it makes sense or has any logic to it. It's just, well, I feel like this, so this must be true. My favorite thing was like the one relative that was asking me if I was ever gonna like try and have a meet a woman and have a family, and I said, well, women don't want a family. They, they're fine with having kids out of wedlock, but not really. And they're like, oh, what's the worst thing? It's like, and I was like doing my joke voice. I was like, I really can't believe that you do not want to have children with a woman who, in a female-led society, can use the courts to strangle money out of you and also accuse you of being a deadbeat while you are taking care of your kid and possibly send you to jail over late payments. I can't believe that you do not want to do that. Why waste your time trying to appeal to people who don't care about you? Well, the belief system that these guys have, and we've discussed this before, and I might even have to do a video explaining it, is the idea that if you're unsuccessful with women, it is a result of a personal failing on your part. And the only way to prove your worth as a human being is intrinsically tied to this group of people who have really never done anything that would even make it to where, they're so desirable, honestly. Like, just, oh, it is silly. I don't pretend it's not. But that's why I said, like, these guys, they have nothing. Like, honestly, if you want to be frank, he doesn't have anything going for himself. That's why his entire success as a human being is predicated on being with a woman. Like, he made this comment about, we make 30K a year. Like, that would never even factor into me being attracted to a female, because I don't sit around and wonder, does this woman I think is pretty make this amount of money? It does it like that's not, I'm not looking to be given some handout by one of them. If anything, the guy is exposing himself, actually. That's her showing up with believe me, she will never know where I live. Because none of them even like remotely, would develop that level of trust for me to. I already told you I don't live anywhere near that job, so they would have to like go through the back channel of asking the managers to pull up my personal info, and then like even then still have to drive over there, and you won't be seeing any apology from that person. I think that's a safe bet. And usually it's the man that does that, has the flowers and is like, I'm apologizing for what I've done. I know it was no fun. They do not care. You know how these chicks are. You can be hugged on Monday and stabbed on Tuesday. My favorite part is when he brought up going to festivals. I'm like, I could go to a festival to see an artist I really enjoy, but to try and like meet someone there, it just seems kind of excessive. Like I'm gonna go and get a ticket and pay to see someone, and then like while I'm there, I'm not even like focused on the thing I'm there to see. I'm here trying to. It's weird, man. Dude, seriously, think about it. Paying you a visit with flowers to give you a heartfelt oh no, that would never. I agree. You would never see it. You're more likely to see aliens coming down and abducting people than that. What a joke. But that's why, like, I made the point to the guy. I said, you can't have the equal society where one side still tries to cling on to having, you know, gender norms and advantages over the other. I mean, how do you say you want to be equal to me, but then you can't take out the trash and you can't um approach and I mean it doesn't, these things don't add up. And like he actually said in this conversation, women don't take out trash. Like what the hell are you talking about? If they live by themselves, there's no one else to do it. Who's going to do it? The magic trash fairy? Like it's that's why I said these guys, they don't think critically. They're just a bunch of horny idiots. And again, it's fine if you want to be that, but don't come around me trying to you know attack me for not wanting to waste my time with the same foolishness. Falling through a black hole. Dude, Judgment Day is more likely to happen than having a woman like ring the doorbell and try to say sorry. Those machines are going to come down and rain on you and show you one thing for. I mean, what else could it be if women don't take out trash? If they live by themselves, who takes it out? The trash fairy? Is there like this garbage can with wings that just appears and scoops it up? No, really, like I always tell you, I'm not some genius master debater. There's plenty of things I'm not knowledgeable of, and I freely admit that, but it's not hard to like listen to what these guys are saying and say, wait a second, that doesn't. I can see that happening 40 plus years ago though. Mars will be colonized first. I mean, hey, the way that the climate change is going on Earth, we only have so many years to go before everything just goes to, trash. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try and make Mars more suitable for human life. But yeah, things are just insane with these people. Like they say one thing, they do the complete opposite. Um, and I really I'm so surprised that you can this isn't me even trying to toot my own horn, but I feel like I did everything right as far as the convention was concerned and just got completely screwed. Like you come on time, in fact, you're early by a whole hour, and then you get in the room and it's so packed and crowded and all the rest of that that you can't even barely move. Then they tell you to like get out of here, and then you come back and it's the same old trash. And like now, one of the people that you wanted to see, they vanished before you even came back. Not even halfway through the event either. And so then you sit there for about an hour thinking, okay, maybe they might come back because they're taking these professional photos and like nothing. It's crappy. Like it's really lame. And I honestly never want to go to another one again after such a bad experience of standing for 5 hours and just no results. I said to hell with it. Orbital habitats are more likely. We're going as friends, right? I really do want to try and like call back to that line. You could say you had a very eventful day today. Man, I thought it was gonna be good. But like yesterday, I was thinking, okay, at worst, that there might be that cancellation, but then at least at the event, you can still get the thing you're looking for. Nope, just a double whammy of trash, man. Like I said, I really hope it'll. Enemy. That's why I was like, imagine like you go to the theater and you meet her outside, or and you're like, it's just staring with this angered express, like both sides just looking at the other one, like they're just disgusted with them and they can't take their eyes off each other. And hey, you want some popcorn? You want to pay? You want to foot the ticket? I'll foot it. We're not going as friends. We're going as enemies. Yeah, as royals, you show up with the crowns and with the big like wands that they have, or I guess the canes. I told you my like I would have had a more comedic answer. It's just that like it took because I didn't I thought it was just the guy that was of the belief that it was something romantic, but apparently she thought so too, or thought I thought it or whatever. I'm just imagining like just because I don't know. I don't think there was ever a time period where I'd be stupid enough to think, oh, this person wants to see a movie with me. They must like me. And then you're at the movie and you like grab them or whatever. Stupid. Like I can't imagine there would ever be a period where I would, make that mistake. Oh, they act like zombies at that job, trust me. Honestly, though, if she sent that message to me, I would have not even responded. That alone would offend me to the point I'd just not even bother. Well, I didn't respond to that last one. No, sorry. I was like, yeah, you are sorry. I'm telling you, tomorrow's going to be real interesting. Really hope that there's no attempt at speaking to me after this. Oh, Jem, thanks. I appreciate it. Like I said, some of the edited stuff takes longer than I would like because either a combination of writer's block or just having days where there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to use that line all week. It was an iconic line, I have to admit. And what's with this guy saying women don't take out trash? If you don't believe me, I have proof that he said it. That's all I'll say. Man, he got so bad that because I gave him a ride like two or three different times. The last time we worked together at like the same number of hours of closing, I refused to give him a ride because I said, look, man, you live close by, and I don't feel like sitting out there for no 3 hours hearing about the magics of the triangle. Is it a gender specific chore or something? I said that like whether you personally believe that or not, it's not the point. I mean, if you're gonna say we're equal, but then keep only sending the same couple of guys to do this stuff, then we're not equal. And we're not. So they can keep living in la la land, but the rest of us, we know the truth. We're going as zombies. Imagine we go to the theater. Oh, it'd be funny if she tried to ask me like to reschedule. I'm like, okay, but You have to understand we can't go as friends. We're going as enemies. Oh, I know we're not equal. They know it too. They don't like to say it. I say the quiet part out loud a lot of times. You know that. I say the thing they want to keep hidden. Imagine if she asked Megumi, "We're going as friends," and he pulled this thing. He's like, "No, we're going as headscarves." Man, this has been such a crazy day. Like, I was thinking of not even streaming because I usually don't do it this late, but I just had to get off my chest because I said, okay, if it's one bad thing today, I can keep it around till Monday. But I just couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't resist like getting it out, you know. But you guys have anything left to say before we wrap this up? It's like, oh man, there's all types of stories of them where they go and try to arrest like one guy and it takes 7 or 8 of them to do it. No, they're a joke as well. Like they're good for writing like just tickets and maybe responding to situations where there is a desire to use deadly force because the weapon will be good in anyone's hands. But as far as like we got to haul this guy in, no. Oh, it's not a cat. It actually hates cats. I like them, but I've never owned one. You just can't take this stuff seriously. Well, I told you, I feel like I live in upside down world where everything is just backwards. So I'm not surprised that like I'm only slightly surprised that this turned out the way it did, but not not enough for me to just be like, oh man, I can't believe because like I said, they've done it before. Not this one, but others. And it's just one of those things you get used to. It's unfortunate the scenario played out in this manner. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I tried to compromise. I asked if they were a bit like, cause, and that's what drives me crazy. I wanted to do this. That's why I asked for a specific time. I asked, you know, what's in your area. Like I went out of my way to bend over backwards for that for nothing. Like just that's why I said it's hard not to be angry with chicks. It really is. Like people get will call you an I word if you call them the B word, but what else are you supposed to refer them when they do stuff like this? Honestly, like what other way are you supposed to? Because I can sit here easily and just not call her any names for another hour, but it's like this pisses me off. And unfortunately, you are mainly disappointed with yourself for trusting him in spite of having these bad experiences in the past. Well, that's why we talked about the self parody because it's not like I'm someone who just has had decent or okay things with chicks or hey, you want to go hang out and see a movie? Oh yeah, sure. And then we go out and it's fun and you know, then we do it again or whatever. No, it's always been this way where one of them leads you on and it doesn't have to be a romantic way. It could be like, hey, let's be friends, or hey, you know, yeah, you're so fun. But then when it comes to actually doing something with you, like taking the time out of the fact that you're just this like you're basically like a clown, like a jester for them at their job, to like actually go and do something with you removed from that environment where there's not really many people around that are actually like trying to have a decent time. You're nothing to them. They show you that you're just this useless piece of garbage, right, to them at that point. And it's very palpable just by the way that they act. Now you see why they blame even the Bible irresponsible, no voice calls. But dude, imagine if I was like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do streams for hours, but you guys want to you want to people want to hear my voice in real life. Ugh. Like, how the hell did you get this job? Because they call people to tell them, can you come in? You know, we want to do an interview. Like, they don't. It's just weird, man. I'm serious. That whole like the next time I meet one of these chicks that says she doesn't do calls, that I'm instantly done speaking to her. Matter of fact, there's one on Piscord right now. I haven't talked to that one in like 2 months. I'm unfriending her because I know she said that a stupid thing like back in November or I think it was December, and I just was like, "Yeah, this is dumb," and like didn't respond to her after that. I'm unfriending her. It's like this is going nowhere. You're clogging up my friend list. Goodbye. I'm serious. From now on, the second one of those bastards says, I don't do calls, I don't speak voice to voice, whether it's a VC, their regular phone number, I'm done with them. I'm finished. I'm through. Because this is like I'm not even kidding. There is no goddamn reason why I can't hear your voice. There's no reason. When have you ever heard of a voice killing people? Like, oh, I heard her voice. Nah, my eyes, my ears started bleeding. And I don't know any men that are like this either. Like, I'm serious. I think out of all the guys I've spoken to, there's maybe been like one that was like, "Oh, I don't want you to hear my voice," and even he was like, "I just feel this way, but I'm coming around to it or whatever." Like, I genuinely did believe him when he was like, "Yeah, if we get to know each other better, whatever." With these chicks, there's no end in sight. It's literally you start speaking on type, 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 type. Hey, can we speak again? Oh, let me check my schedule. Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, duh, duh, duh. I'm like, I'm not playing. The next time I meet one of them on the computer and they say that they're uncomfortable speaking voice to voice, like, dude, even the one in Banana Penalty was trying to say that trash. And I'm like, Bimbo, I spoke to you for 9 hours, voice to voice, one on one, no one around, you and I. I talk about she felt uncomfortable and that's why there were pauses. Dude, there are no damn pauses. Many chicks arguing towards this as they are shy. I'm shy sometimes. You know, I go to a new place, I'm nervous, whatever, but I can't just say, oh, well, I just won't speak or don't trust them to let them hear their voice. Dude, they act like if you hear their voice, you're going to just like discover their address and their phone number. It's so stupid, man. But this one was significant because it's the first one in real life that pulled that scheme. That's why I'm saying the next time one of them starts singing the "You Can't Hear My Voice" song, I'm gonna get gone. The hell we look like living in an era where you have telephones, Skype calls, Discord calls. People can call each other on their damn TV, and I'm not allowed to hear some random heifer's voice on the computer or at a job for real. Like I'm not even kidding. Like, how does somebody function in society and they're just opposed to talking over the phone? Like they'll talk to you in real life, but oh, you want to hear my voice? Like what? Yeah, their triangle magically appears. You speak to them for enough hours, huh? I'm serious. You think I'm playing? I already told you I can. We can take all these chicks and just throw them into the, you know, into the abyss because I barely speak to any of them, and I'm not even kidding. There's no like, there's not a single one that irritates me where I'm like, oh man, I need to still talk to her. Like, I'm fine with just completely getting rid of them. This is a thing I've only been noticing since 2018. So it's not an old thing. It's not something that they've been doing since the dawn of time, since the millennium. Like I said, 40 years ago, there were no damn phones to even be able to be like, oh, I'm still well, you know what I mean? Like there weren't cell phones. Like somebody called your house to tell you the news. You picked it up. You didn't just get a text message and ignore it for 2 or 3 damn days, like she did. Because men put up with it. That's why. Not this one. I'll tell you about that bimbo that said, I'm only going to talk to you in typing, and then I was like, all right, well, goodbye. And then You had Triple L stupid behind talk about, I think she meant that she wasn't ready to talk to you in voice yet. It's like, no, I actually have the message right here where she said that she was not going to do that, period. But nice spin. Dude, she wouldn't last 5 seconds, like a week as a dishwasher with her manicured nails. If she spent as much time honoring her commitments as she does on her nails and lipstick and eyeliner, maybe we would actually have had a decent day today. Who knows? This is a digital era, and you can't control someone so easily over the phone, which pretty much everyone has. I told you what it is. They feel more detached when they just type stuff. If you notice, most nasty things that people will say about you online anyway are written. Like there's way more comments of people saying I'm a piece of whatever than videos of them being like, yeah, I despise him. He's worthless. You know, you don't see as often people voice to voice going, this person is they're nothing. They're just scum, you know. Oh no, she wouldn't get that reference. You know these how the like education system in the US is a joke, so she wouldn't get Nancy and Ronald. No. That would fly right over her head. That's still my favorite one. No, we are going as enemies. But what I find the most insane thing is this is a coworker of yours and you've spoken to her before. Why the hell would she say she doesn't do calls to you? Well, the theory I had, I'm starting to kind of get is that probably somewhere someday after Monday, she wanted to back out of it. And she she probably would have a harder time saying, I don't want to do this, voice to voice. So she has to like lead me on all the way up until Thursday because that's the last time we saw each other in person, and also pretend that speaking voice to voice is like worse than the plague. So when you claim that, oh, I don't talk to people by voice, right? I have no way to disprove that because I barely know her outside of the position. So you take her at her word, and then at the same time she gets to now create the circumstance where she can effectively treat you like gum at the end of her shoe by not having to even address you in a format where you can hear her say things to you. She just types a sentence here, a sentence a day later, and there you go. Your whole Saturday is destroyed. So that was my theory. But her mom wanted to do something else. Well, let me call your mom. Oh no, that would have like I can already imagine what reaction that would have had. And again, I'm not some psychiatrist. This is just my theory. Because like I'm telling you, it drives me bonkers the way that she was so quick to want to do this on Monday and how it all just evolved into like nothingness by you know, the end of the week. Like I'm very annoyed, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, but this is what they are, man. They're just like really nasty and scummy and as long as they can feel like it doesn't affect them, they don't care. And of course, I won't say anything at the position because I'm not trying to, start anything. But if she tries to say hi to me, I'm not going to answer. I'm not going to say anything. And the only way she gets me to talk to her again is if it's something work related or if she actually, I'm not like actually apologize. I'm not, and again, real clear. I'm not talking about some stupid little tiny 2 sentence text message. Nah, the hell with that. Actually comes up and says, "Look, I know you wanted to hang out this weekend. I had this thing come up. I'm sorry. I do actually want to do stuff with you. I just have been busy with the." If I don't get that, then I'm not pursuing any further stuff with her. Like I said, these chicks are a dime a dozen. You can replace them as quickly as you can fall in love with them. So I don't I'm not losing any sleep over, her mistake. That's all what this really comes down to. They just don't care. I called it. They don't care. Hey, Megumi, I'm gonna wear gloves on stream. These weird men on the computer are gonna hate us for this, but we don't care. Hey, Jem, I'm gonna wear my coat on stream. These very bizarre guys who are fixated on my appearance are gonna hate me for this, but I don't care. So who can play at that game? If she did that explain apology in person, that would be very surprising. But I really don't. Oh, trust me, I have no misconceptions about you know what she's likely to do, and you probably have the same gut instinct as me. Is sweep it under the rug. Maybe she tries to be friendly the first day back. Maybe she doesn't. Who knows? Um, but I'm not sitting here expecting on Monday there's going to be this big because chick dude like we've studied chicks. We know what they do. They're not difficult creature. Like literally, all you have to do to figure out what a woman's going to do is just look at what she did at first, and then entertain the possibility that she's going to do something that is the opposite of what she did before. So if it happens, you're like, okay, that's kind of weird, but that is also women. There's a reason women starts with a W and weird starts with a W. They do some very weird things. A lot of weird women. Literally, all you have to do is just think about what they would do that would make the least amount of sense based off what they just did, and then when it happens you can go, okay, that's crazy, but I had a feeling this would happen. Like I'm telling you, when the first instance of me thinking something's going to go wrong was either when she said we're going as friends, right, or over the next 2 days when I sent that message and she just wouldn't respond, and it was like someone who actually wants to hang out with somebody, they're gonna clarify like, "Hey, I want to meet here, whatever." I'm sure she'll do avoidance. It's either gonna be one of two things: either straight up ignoring me, or saying hi and I don't say anything or barely responding, and that like sets the tone for yeah, I'm done with you. But it's like I'm not trying to sound like I'm some romance expert. Chicks are not hard to read at all. They send all you have to remember is they send mixed signals. That'd be fun. Like, hey, I couldn't cut it as your friend, so I'm gonna see if I can cut it as your enemy. Become her arch nemesis. Dude, I'm not even kidding. Like, what if I really didn't even care about any type of consequence for putting stuff up on here and I just recorded like everything and used people's real names and like showed all like what I mean, like just did like just like I'm taking you down with me. Like if you're gonna make me miserable, I'm gonna make you miserable and just spam my so like that would truly be the end of times. Like there's no coming back from that. Like God, I'm just imagining the fallout from that. I'd get in so much trouble. It really is difficult to find out what they really are. And as guys, usually we are often saying women are so hard to figure out. They're not. Um, if one is ignoring you, she's probably not interested. If one is acting nice to you, she's probably just nice in general and not actually wanting to develop anything with you, whether it's a serious friendship or anything like that. It's literally this is just what they do. It's the same old song and dance, rinse and repeat. Oh, hey, you said we're going as allies. I said we're going as the Axis. Yeah, you read my mind because I was like, yeah. We're going as Truman and Churchill. Oh, excuse me. Let me refer to we're going as prime ministers of the UK. We're going as Thatcher and Churchill. Like I still think that line is so funny. Does she really believe we're gonna go to this theater and I'm gonna be sitting next to her, and then all of a sudden she's gonna feel like my hand creeping around her behind? Like it's so stupid. Like I, I keep imagining what it would have been like to actually do this today. And I'm like, wow, she really thought that just by asking her to go see a movie, I'm like, "Mm, you will be mine. Yes." Like it's so dumb. But that's what I say. Like they all think you want to be their boyfriend. Like chicks are so rancid that you could have one of them where you just ask her, "You're right," and she's like, yeah, why?" God, what a lousy group. I'm telling you, man. I really thought Noah Caesar and Cleopatra. No, we're going as rivals, and then I show up in my orange like jumpsuit, and she's got the Saiyan armor on. No, we're going as Autobots. You know, kidding. This is so stupid. She's like, I really. Most of these chicks don't ever say anything I think is memorable, unless something really dumb. This is really dumb. We're going as friends, right? We're not even friends. The way I got treated on Saturday, that's not a friend. So many of them are like that, and over majority of them doesn't matter what age, race, ethnicity. Where that was the point I made about bringing up the woman earlier from when I was in high school. Like that broad was like 17, 18. This one's like several years old. So it's like it doesn't matter if they're underage, if they're an adult, if they don't have a vehicle, if they have a car, if they don't have a phone, if they have a device, they will treat you like dirt. That I just think that would be so funny. Like, hey, look, I couldn't cut it as a friend of yours, so I'll just be an enemy. We're going as enemy. It's like it's a cosplay. I don't even know if she likes animals. I have to. Well, I'm not going to ask her now, but I know that Triple L really liked dogs and cats. Those are her favorite specimens. Man, I just this unfortunately does remind me of the time I was planning on meeting this woman I met on a Friends in Need website. We're going as Muppets. Dude, my instinctive thing would have been we're going as a married couple, but like I actually really like the we're going as because it's the complete opposite of friends, enemies. We're going as a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We go to the theater, go go Power Rangers. Let's name some more 80s properties. No, as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Similar to what you said, at first she seemed so into the idea of us meeting. The time arrived for us to meet, and she wasn't responding to my emails on the day. See, like that's weird to me. But I tell you, a lot of these chicks do that where you like a pen pal, and then they just stop. Like you don't have to argue with them. You have to do something that piss them off. They will just abruptly stop responding. There were so many chicks like that on Discord where they're like really into talking to you for like the first couple days, maybe a few weeks, and then just like you don't even exist after that time. Like you'll see them online, and it's a ghost town. No, as Sith Lords. I mean, hey, she could be my apprentice. I can train her in the ways of content creation. Actually, no, because I don't want to give any chicks free advertising because no one gave me free any endorsements on this site. Literally, not a single one. I'm not kidding. No, as Ren and Stimpy. No, as Tom and Jerry. No, as Itchy and Scratchy. Then sent me a lengthy email saying she had couldn't make it and was needed at her work apparently. Women. I'm telling you, it's the same thing every year, and it only stops when you stop talking to them. That's the only way to kill it. Well, you guys have anything left to say? Because I am getting pretty hungry and also somewhat tired. As Kubla Khan, nothing about rescheduling or apologizing and leading me on. No, they don't ever say sorry. Like that was why I was so sad about the one from Banana Penalty. That's one of the few times I've ever seen a woman admit she was wrong. Out of any of the ones I've spoken to, it was her and maybe like one other one that were like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have said this. I'm sorry." It's very rare. No, as Justin plus one. I mean, hey, it should be minus one. That'd be funny if I went to a theater by her house and I was like, I sent her a text message, wishing you were here. I had so much fun. Happened a long time ago, but yeah, that really pissed me off. I'm sure it did. It's frustrating. They had to send people messages and then they stop responding or they you schedule something, they blow you off. It's obnoxious. I remember a lot of these people, I guess I hate the idea that they act like they don't know in advance what they're doing that day. Like she knew about that thing probably in the past. Maybe it didn't even happen. Who knows? Uh Send pic of oh yeah. Like I saved the seat for you. Dude, if I were like more into the trolling type stuff, I would be like sending her messages like I'm seeing this movie and I'm up here and I missed you on Saturday. Where did you have fun with your but I don't even want to do that because I really want to display the fact that this upsets me. Like, yeah, I make jokes, I laugh, whatever, but they don't want to see me just pissed. They don't want to see the rage. Uh, anyways, moms are more organized than that. Yeah, her mom didn't tell her the night before. It's just lies, man. Anything else left to say, Jem? Megumi? I know this stream was way later than usual. Like I said, I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to stream today because I thought I was gonna hang out with this silly woman, but she played me like an instrument. wasting my time, tricked me for a whole week. And like I said, I'm more upset with myself for even believing in her in the first place. I'm usually sleeping at this time, but I'm real glad I made it to this stream. Well, like I said, this isn't a usual. I'm not trying to make this a usual thing. It's just that I go in to work relatively early tomorrow and Monday, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it on Monday, and I didn't want to have to like wait until Tuesday or even longer to be able to talk about this. Sorry things didn't go with that with that coworker of yours. I am too, man. Like I said, when I actually want to do something with somebody, the whole schedule gets cleared out just for them. And you saw what my reward was. And remember, you can't complain about it because if you do, you're entitled. It's really cartoonish. People just use words with no concern for the actual meaning. It's sad. Well, when you don't really have anyone around you to vent to, besides like maybe two people, one of which is sick and the other one is kind of not around as much as you would like, it happens. Trust me, I my only plan at this point is to just say nothing. She would have to really be persistent to get me to talk to her again. You are a very interesting person. Oh wow. I'm so flattered. Well, I had that liar laughing, so I guess I must have had some good qualities. It's just that the way chicks are, you could pretty much be the funniest or smartest person on earth and they would still just kind of like railroad you and throw you away. She's probably not going to say anything, or she'll proceed to act like normal as if nothing happened. I'm calling it now. Hey, that's entirely possible. I'm going to, like I said, my only difference is that I'm just not saying anything to her, like at all. She will avoid him. Hey, let her. No skin off my bones. Remember, it's this much of a hassle to just be friends with a woman, let alone trying to do something romantic. Like that's all you need to know about how botched they are, where like things get stupid even when it's just platonic interactions. So I'm sure she will avoid me. I'll avoid her too. No smiles, no affectionate jokes, no nothing. Just she'll notice the difference. I'm sure of it. Now, whether that's enough to get her to say anything, I don't think so. But I don't care about her reaction. I'm going to demonstrate in a very passive aggressive way. I am not satisfied. I can do that with like I'm not kidding. There's a guy at that job where he made a comment about like I'm not in the mood to deal with you today, and I was like, I come up here, I try to act nice when I'm here, and I don't appreciate somebody acting like it's a chore to be around me because I'm trying to make some jokes or have you know some type of humor here. So from then on until now, I don't even talk to that guy unless he says something to me. Sick of these bastards, man. Act like I'm bothering them. Sorry, when I come here, I don't want to be miserable all day long. You already got to work at this damn place for way longer than you want to, just to get a meager hundred some dollars a day. Imagine having a coworker that at least tries to have some fun, tries to have some semblance of enjoyment when they come to the godforsaken place that they call their job, and you say that they're like irritating you because they made a joke. It was the same thing with the managers. I'm like, this lady was complaining, "Oh, you're always making that same joke." It's like, well, now I'm not making any jokes. The one that they were telling on me to, I don't even speak to her unless it's again work related. She'll walk right past me. I won't even say a word anymore. To hell with it. Like I'm serious. Like they took advantage of my sense of humor, so now they're gonna get none of it. And they know it's still there because if I go on break in front of them, I'm laughing on the phone, whatever. But all that other stuff of trying to be nice, that is reserved for very few people there. There's a small, little, tiny contingent of people that I used to count this one among, but I made a mistake. You know, it happens. That I'm always pleasant towards. I always say hello to. But the rest of those bastards, they can rot. But anyways, I appreciate you showing up, Jim. I appreciate the donation. Um, Gumi, likewise, I was worried you wouldn't be able to attend this stream because I wanted to give you homage by pointing out the accuracy of your message. I think you probably were more of the belief that it was going to be some kind of like setup type thing. And in her case, it was just like being flaky. So thanks for showing up. I'll see about Monday, but don't quote me on it because I it sucks. It's like if I were able to, if I didn't have to work an hour away, I'd be able to do it. But I don't know if I'll be able to. It just depends on what time I wake up and whatnot. But if I can't do it on Monday, I'll try to do it at some other point in the week. So thanks for showing up and have a good rest of your weekend.